Hello, and welcome to the Oracle of Light. I'm Shauna Domalain. I'm a lifelong medium and certified life coach. And making the connection with the afterlife has brought me the greatest joy. Since losing my son, Jack, I have navigated grief, heartache, and despair. And it was through connecting with my son on the other side that my heart began to heal and I was able to find joy and meaning in my life again. Now, I'm inviting you into this space as I explore the afterlife, the grieving process, and rebuilding after loss. If you'd like to discover the spirit world and how to move through the loss of a loved one or child, you have come to the right place. This is the Oracle of Light. Hello and welcome to this week's episode. I am so grateful that you are here with me. This week we are going to talk about how our crossed over loved ones are helping us from the other side. And if you're new here, I'm Shauna Domalain. I'm a psychic medium. I've experienced the world of spirit since as early back as I can remember. I called the loved ones that I saw everywhere, I called them the see-through people. And I saw angels and guides and all kinds of beautiful, benevolent energies. And working with clients in the last 20 years has really opened my eyes to all of the beautiful ways that the spirit world is showing up for us. The spirit world is literally a thought away. Particularly 11 years ago when I lost my son, Jack, I really didn't know how to navigate that. Even as a medium, people would say, well, what's the big deal? You can just talk to him. And I couldn't. The disconnection was huge. I literally couldn't connect. I didn't know where he went. I literally thought he had died and he was gone forever. That's how I felt in my heart. And as many of you know, I've shared the story thousands of times. I was guided to connect with my good friend Laurel, and Laurel is like an earth angel. And she said to me, well, Shauna, have you connected with Jack? I said, no, I can't feel him. I can't see him. I don't know what happened. It's like he's gone. And up until that moment, when I learned that he was gone, I dreamt of him every night. I dreamt of him every night for 6 months. As soon as I would hit the pillow, I would be out and we would be off flying and exploring. And it was that was my beautiful time with him. He was as real to me as anyone standing in front of me talking to me. That's how real my son was. And he was a part of our family for months. Like I said, 6 months before we had attempted in vitro. And to lose him literally brought me to my knees. So even as a medium, as I said, I couldn't connect with him. So I booked a session with Laurel and she said, well, Shauna, have you connected with Jack? Have you experienced him? Have you talked to him? And, I said, no, I can't. I can't feel him. I can't see him. I don't know what happened. And she said, well, look up. And so I looked up and in the corner of the room, there was a beautiful angel walking toward me. And she was holding hands with a little boy who would have been about 2, about his age. And he came running over to me and he's like, Mama, it's me. It's Jack. I'm okay. I'm here. I just remember him curling up in my lap and I held on to him and I cried and I cried and I cried. And for the first time in 2 years, I finally felt like there was a piece of my heart that came back that day. And I was able to start to fully grieve him and mourn him, knowing that he was safe, knowing that he was in the arms of the angels, knowing that he was with my other loved ones, my grandparents on the other side, brought so much peace and joy to my heart. And I still don't know all the answers. And even as a medium, we don't have all the answers. We're not God. There isn't a medium or intuitive or psychic I've met who is 100% accurate. We're not God. We're interpreting symbols and messages, and we're deciphering energy. And sometimes it can feel like we are playing charades with the spirit world. That's what it feels like sometimes. So I just know for myself personally that connecting with him that day literally brought me back to life. And my classes and the tagline on my website, everything that I do is around making that connection, because our loved ones are marinating in 100% unconditional love on the other side. Before they transition, they scoop up all the love and the memories from this life, and they take that with them. And they still have their personality, but they leave everything else behind. Any lower emotions, any loss, any grief, any sadness, any anger, any of those lower emotions and vibrations, they're left behind. They do not go with them to the other side. So when we make the connection with our loved one in spirit, we are connecting into all of those beautiful benevolent energies. We are connecting into unlimited possibilities just by making the connection. And I always tell people, people say to me, well, I can't experience my loved one, and what's going on? What's happening? Why am I not getting the messages? What is this? And I always ask people, okay, how open and available are you? So if we look at this from an energetic perspective, everything is energy. So our loved one is marinating in unconditional love on the other side. And if our vibration, if our energy is resonating at grief, that's a much lower vibration. The consciousness scale by David Hawkins is where that information comes from. At the very bottom of the consciousness scale is 20. That's shame. Shame is the lowest vibration on the planet. Above that, at 75, is grief. And if we go up even higher, the vibration of love is at 500. So if we're deeply grieving our loved one, if we feel shame around anything around how they transitioned or any sort of shame, we are experiencing a gap. So if we're grieving and we're at 75 and our loved one is at 500, we're not able to make that connection. So that's the first place that I start with people, is to help them understand that their grief and their mourning will shift and change their vibration. If they're angry, if they're resentful, if they are feeling revengeful, if they're feeling any of those lower emotions, again, that's going to weigh our energy down. It's like a hot air balloon. And to connect with our loved ones, we need to raise our vibration. We need to release all of these lower, dense, heavy energies and thoughts and ideas. We have to release all of it so that our vibration can get high enough so that we can make the connection with our loved ones. When our vibration rises to hopefulness and gets closer to the level of love, our loved ones can come down a little bit and click into place with us. Okay. And that's what that connection is. The connection is always there. It's just there are certain things that can block the connection, if that makes sense. There are certain things, like I said, the emotional state can block it. Grief is huge. The majority of people that I work with over the years, there's grief. Well, I should have known, or sorry, not grief. There's guilt. I should have known something was different. I should have acted quicker. If I had done this, this would have happened. If I had done that, this would have happened. And if I had known, if they had reached out, and Peter Crone is known as the mind architect. And I love what he says. He says, suffering is a choice, and that doesn't lessen the loss. That doesn't minimize anyone's loss, anything that they've experienced. But suffering is a choice. Suffering says that shouldn't have happened. That event shouldn't have happened that way, that's wrong. And maybe it is. But if it was meant to be a different way, it would have been. And again, that doesn't minimize anyone's loss. So in the grieving process, in the grieving community, we talk about acceptance. As much as I hate it, my son Jack is not here with me in the physical. As much as I hate it, I can't, pick him up from school and wrap him in a big bear hug. As much as I hate it, he is no longer in a physical body. He's on the other side. And in having the awareness of all of those different emotions and all of those different experiences, we can have the most compassion for ourselves as we're grieving. We are right where we're meant to be, and we can choose happiness. I often tell people that joy and grief coincide. There's still days when I have moments of grief when I think about Jack and I think about the life that I would have had if he had been here. I think of how different it would have been. I think of the future that I would have experienced with him, all the dreams and watching him be who he came to be, watching him make a mess, watching him, learn to express his soul, watching him experience life in the physical. That isn't going to happen. And so it takes tremendous courage to ride the waves of grief. It really does. And I know from my own experience that having that connection with Jack that day, the day that I met with Laurel, I felt like I'd been plugged back in. Somehow the connection had been impacted. And I just feel like she worked her magic and she helped me to shift and let go of the grief, the anger. I was angry at everybody. I was angry at God. I was angry at the doctor. I was angry at my ex-husband. I was angry at Jack. I was angry at everybody, myself the most. Because working as an intuitive, I thought, well, I should have known. I should have known. I should have picked up on this. What's wrong with me? Why didn't I see that? But I know that I am a mercurial earth girl. I know that I'm here to learn and expand and explore. And, there's a coach I worked with years ago, and she said, what if you're right where you're meant to be? What if in this moment right now, this is right where you're meant to be? Our souls are always learning and we're growing and we're changing and we're shifting. And I believe that we're lifelong learners. I know that I am. And back to making that connection with Jack that day, it literally gave me my life back. It gave me my life back. Not in a way that I thought I was going to have my life, but it helped me to understand that he was okay. And for 2 years, I kept saying every day, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I don't know how I'm going to get through this, but I trust that God has put me here for a reason. I trust that I am going to work through this and I'm going to figure this out. And again, in making that connection with him, it started to bring me back to life. I started to create a life after loss. I started to really get back in touch with who I am. Who was Shauna? I wasn't the same version from before I lost Jack. So it was like becoming a whole new version of me. And that can be a little exciting and terrifying all rolled into one because I had identified as a certain person. I wore many different hats for many different years. And losing Jack forced me to look at, who am I? What is the life that I'm living? What is Jack's legacy? Am I living my life to the fullest? Am I honoring that little boy and who he would have been? He was in my life here in the physical for such a short amount of time. And so I know for a fact, I know from my own personal experience that making the connection with our loved ones on the other side, it helps us. How can it not? We are connected into limitless possibilities and magic and the universal energies that are everlasting. So that is just one of the ways that our loved ones can help us from heaven, is in making the connection. Okay. Another way that our loved ones in heaven can help us is by bringing new people into our world. This is where I see the serendipity come into play, where people are guided to make a call, guided to attend an event, guided to do something. And they do, and they meet someone who changes their world. They're guided to, reach out to someone that they haven't spoken with in years, and they just pick up right where they left off. So another thing that I've seen over the years, the way that our loved ones will help us is, again, bringing new people into their world. I can't tell you how many times someone has reached out to me and they said, I just happened to see you today. It was random. I never go on TikTok during the day. I don't ever go on Instagram on the weekend, and there you were. Or, I heard someone else talk about you and I just felt guided to reach out to you. That is all spirit. So again, spirit will bring the right people into your world and allow them to do that. Allow them to do that. You see, our loved ones only want what's best for us. They are no longer here in their physical body, but they are 100% alive in spirit. The connection never dies. The love never dies. We are still connected. And if we're not experiencing our loved ones, it just means that we need a little bit more time to figure it out. Again, sometimes we're grieving and mourning so deeply that we're not able to experience our loved ones. And that takes time. It could be a not yet. There could be something somewhere where we're not letting it in. Okay. So we could have a fear, we could have a fear. This is what I teach in my mediumship classes. We may have a fear around opening up to spirit. We may have a fear of what's going to happen. We don't understand. Who can guarantee that our loved ones are safe, that as we open up, we're going to experience all of this beauty. And so just be open to the possibility that your loved one is going to bring new people into your world, not to replace your loved one. That's not possible, but to bring people in to support, uplift, help you to heal, help you to find meaning in your life again. Let them do that. Let them at least be willing to allow your loved ones in heaven to bring new people into your world. I always say, you angels, universe, I need more ground crew. I need more ground crew, people that get me, people that understand me, people I can be myself with. I need more ground crew. Please bring them and show me what you need me to do. And so lately I've been reaching out to all kinds of different groups and meeting new people. And there's no, I believe that we attract who and what we're in alignment with. So lately I've met some fantastic new people, so much fun. And I know that that's all spirit led because I ask and I know that the question is always going to be answered. Every time you ask a question, there's always an answer. Just be open and available to letting it come the way that it needs to. Not, it should look like this, and I want it to look like that, and it has to look like this, and this is the only way that it can show up. Because what we do is we put blinders on, and then we block the universe from bringing it to us in whatever way will just blow our mind, really, is what it comes down to. So again, allow your loved one to move new people into your world. Again, this is not to replace them. They're irreplaceable. There's 8 billion of us on the planet and none of us is identical. We're not. There's no one who is 100% identical to you. And there never will be. There never will be another person identical to you. So our loved ones are always telling us, in the sessions, they always say, live your dream, follow your heart. Create your happiness, enjoy the little things, dream big, believe in miracles, embrace the possibilities, fall in love, go for it, live your life to the fullest. We're not here forever. So live your life to the fullest and allow them to bring new people into your world. So in this moment right now, you can place your hand over your heart and ask your loved one in heaven, can you bring me more people? Bring me more people who are in alignment with me. Bring me more people who will bring joy and uplift my life and help me to rebuild, help me to create a life that I love. Could you please bring those people to me? Bring people to me that feel like home. That's what I ask for. I will ask for them. I'll say, please bring people to me that make me that feel like home. And they do. Like you meet somebody and you hug them and they just feel like home. That's what I ask for. Okay. So just be willing. You don't have to do anything in this moment. This isn't replacing your loved one. Just be willing for them to bring new people, new experiences into your world. And I promise you they will. Another way that our loved ones help from heaven is through our dreams. And the first thing I have to say about this is I did a TikTok a few months ago, the Dream Journal. They did, I think it was the Dream Journal. I'd have to double check. But they did a study. They studied, I think it was 80 to 100 people. And the people who had lucid dreams before their loved one died, they still dreamt of their loved ones after they transitioned, after they died. So people that didn't have lucid dreaming all the time before their loved one transitioned, didn't receive, we call them grief dreams, visitations. They didn't receive them. So if you're not receiving dreams, you're not having dreams of your loved one, that's okay. That's just one of a multitude of ways that they connect with us. A simple way that you can invite them into your dreams and practice is calling their energy close. So just by thinking of them in this moment, they come closer, and ask them, please come into my dreams tonight and wake me up so I know it's you. Thank you. And be excited and see what happens. Okay. Sometimes they come in, when we're sleeping at night, it's like it's easier for them to connect with us because our logical, busy list making mind isn't awake. It isn't busy. We're not full of all these distractions, and everybody gets distracted. We've got watches that talk to us. We've got cell phones. Some of us have 2 or 3 cell phones. We've got computers, we've got laptops, we're playing games, we're watching TV, we're watching videos, we're listening to music. We're around people. Our cars are talking to us. The electronics, there are electronics everywhere, right? So just be aware of how many distractions we have in our world, and that at night, all of that is quiet. And it's an easier time for them to come and make the connection with us from spirit. It's an easier time for us to come in and for them to let us know that they're still with us. Okay. Because again, it's like there's this window of opportunity where they can come in and they can connect with us because we're not off in all these different directions. That logical side of the mind is quiet, and it creates a calm environment where it's easier for them to connect with us. Okay. So in your dreams, sometimes I'll wake up, and I usually wake up at 4:44, and it's Jack. It's like, oh my gosh, it's you. I can feel him. Sometimes I wake up and I hear his laughter, and I just roll over and I go back to sleep. Okay. So just be open to the possibilities. That's all I'm asking you. And again, if you're not getting dreams, that's okay. That might not be the way that your loved one connects with you, and that's okay. Another way, this is really popular. Another way that our loved ones help us from heaven is they give us signs. They give us signs. I know I've shown this 100 times. But my son Jack gives me heart rocks. So I have heart rocks from him. I've got them all over the house. Absolutely amazing. Another sign from him are blue butterflies. The day that I went to get the butterfly on my tattoo, he was there. The room was full of butterflies. It was just the most incredible experience. And so signs, I call them, they're like sprinkles of love from heaven. They really are. And I've heard some mediums over the years say, signs, whatever, big deal, not a big deal. But you know what? Signs are hope. When we know that the sign from our loved one is, as an example, is a heart rock. I know for a fact when I find heart rocks, I'm so excited. I can feel Jack. I can sense him. I know that he's with me in that moment. And so signs are so beautiful. So beautiful. I would love to hear what your signs are from your loved ones. So feel free to leave me a comment and let me know what they are. And if you haven't received a sign yet, ask them, can you please give me a sign? And keep showing it to me so I know it's you. Keep showing it to me till I acknowledge. I say, oh, I've seen five feathers today. Is that my sign from my loved one? Oftentimes, just before we see a sign from our loved one, we'll be thinking of them. So if you see repeating numbers as an example, if you see 555, and every time you see 555, you're thinking of your loved one, that's them. And again, if you're not sure, ask them, keep showing it to me. Please show me in different ways. Please keep showing it to me till I know I get it. I know it's you. I didn't get the blue butterflies right away. It was actually my girlfriend. I went to go have a Reiki tune-up with her. I went to go have Reiki with her, and she looked at me and she said, Jack's here. And I said, is he? Oh my gosh, there he is. Because we all experience him differently, right? She's like, yeah. She's like, he's running around. And she said, he's got blue butterflies all around him. I looked at her and I said, oh my God. I see blue butterflies everywhere. I didn't connect with Jack. So even me, as his mom, as a medium, I didn't make that connection because I thought I had heart rocks. I didn't expect to have any other sign from him. Okay. So be open to the possibilities. And he kept showing it to me, kept showing it and kept showing it and kept showing it. So that's what I ask. And don't get frustrated. Because if we get frustrated, how come I'm not getting it? And that other person's getting it. Like we're blocking it. So and this is manifesting. It's stepping into the result and feeling it. So how will it feel? I know what it feels like to find a heart rock. I get all excited and I feel warmth in my heart. And I know that that's from my boy. it brings me such peace and hope. So I want you to feel that as well. Think of how exciting it's going to be when you know what the sign is from your loved one. Okay. How exciting it is. And then on the days that are difficult, ask for more of them. Last year was a really difficult year for me. And on his anniversary, I went out to the mountains, and on the drive out, I kept saying, Jack, Mama needs a heart rock today, please. Thank you. Thank you, honey. I found 31 that day. 31. I'm sure if I stayed there longer, I would have found more. But here I am coming back to the car with all these heart rocks. That's how it works. And that's how it can work for you as well. It just takes a little bit more practice. That's all. Once you get into the feeling of it, feeling it done, connecting into it, feeling how wonderful it is, right? And allow the signs to come to you in a multitude of different ways. I had one client, her sign were rainbows. And she said, well, it's the middle of winter. I'm not going to see a rainbow. And I said, no, just keep an eye out. They'll show it to you. So then she saw someone who had rainbow earrings. She saw a rainbow on her computer. She saw a rainbow on a truck that drove by, right? Like they'll bring it to you in ways that we can't even imagine. Okay. So if you're not getting the signs right now, put your hand over your heart. Think of your loved one and ask them, please give me a sign. Please let me know that you're here with me. Please give me a sign and keep showing it to me till I know that it's you. It might take once, it might take 10 times, and that's okay. You'll start to notice the patterns. Okay. And draw me a comment. Let me know. Let me know what those signs are. I would love to hear all about it. Okay. I get pictures all the time. People send me pictures. People send me messages. They're so excited because again, signs are sprinkles of love from heaven. They really are. They're hope. They give us hope. And it gives us something to look forward to. It really does. And one last way that our loved ones help us from heaven is by simply bringing their energy closer. Okay. This is so comforting to know. I always tell people, I want everyone to know that they're not alone. We may feel alone, but we're never alone. Just in this moment right now, think of your loved one. Their energy is there with you. Okay? Their energy is there with you. And when they come close to you, it's comforting. It's comforting, even though you may not see them, you may not hear them, you may not feel them, you may not even know that they're there. That's okay. In time, you will. So just knowing that they're there with you, knowing that anytime you think of them, they're there. When you look at their pictures, they're there. When you share memories of them, they're there. In that moment, they're there with you. It's that quick. And by bringing their energy closer, just knowing that they're there, it brings us comfort and peace. And again, it helps us to know that we're not alone. I remember after I lost my partner, I didn't know how I was going to navigate that. And he would always come closer. I would sit, close my eyes and ask him to come closer, and I could feel him. And it took practice because I was so deeply in grief after I lost him. So deeply in grief. And in time, right? I could practice. I could feel him. So same thing, right? Just one of my favorite meditations is Dr. Joe Dispenza. He's got a morning meditation and an evening meditation. And so at night you listen to it just before you go to sleep. Puts you in a beautiful state. We think of how grateful we are, all the beautiful things that happen during the day. That's what we go to sleep in, because whatever our last thoughts and emotions are before we fall asleep, we're marinating in that for up to 4 hours, even longer sometimes. So we want those last thoughts and images and feelings that we have before we go to sleep to be beautiful and positive. Okay. And then the morning meditation sets your day up. It'll clear your energy field. And when your energy field is clear and we're feeling positive, we're feeling joyful, we're feeling happiness, we're feeling hopeful, we've raised our vibration, we're that much closer to our loved ones. And then when they bring their energy closer, we're able to sense them. Sometimes depending on how your gifts work, sometimes we may just know that they're there. It's like we just know. Somehow we just know. Sometimes we feel it with our physical body. We may get tingles. We may heat up or cool down. We may feel like there's a draft in the room. I feel like champagne bubbles in my heart every time Jack comes in. We may feel emotional. All of these are different ways that we can experience our loved one. And another way that we can experience them is we may hear them. We may hear someone calling our name. We may hear laughter. We may hear someone coughing and there's no one else home with us. We may turn the radio on and there's a song that speaks just right to our heart. Okay. Or we may see things. We may see them in our mind's eye. We may remember a beautiful memory with them. That's them. We may see sparkles of light out of the corners of our eyes. We may see sparkles of light around other people. Those are loved ones. So just knowing that when they bring their energy closer, that it's comforting for us. It helps us to know that they're still with us. And with practice, we can strengthen that. I promise you. I promise you. I've been teaching for almost 20 years now, and each and every student experiences their loved ones in a way that's just right for them. So it's very important to not compare what you're getting and what other people are getting and what you're not getting, and I can't do it. And it's very important to find what works for you. Okay. And find a teacher you would like to work with if this is something you want to expand upon. If it's me, fabulous, reach out. If it isn't, that's okay too. Just find someone that you resonate with. What I like to teach people is how to know what your strongest gift is, because your strongest gift is how your loved one is going to connect with you first. So again, you may see repeating numbers, have vivid dreams, see sparkles of light. That's your clairvoyance. Clairsentience is clear feeling. You heat up, you cool down, you may feel really emotional. That's with your physical body. That's clairsentience. Claircognizance is you just know. You just have these thoughts pop into your head and you're not sure where they came from. That's claircognizance. And then we have the clairvoyance, the clairaudience. I think I did clairvoyance, and then we did clairaudience, where we hear them. Different songs. I hear songs playing in my head all the time. If you've joined me on any of the TikTok lives, I'll say, "Hey, soul sister," my angels and guides sing. So yes, that's what happens. So yeah, just understanding that. And sometimes we smell spirit. Sometimes we taste spirit. That's clairaugusta and clairaudience. Okay. Sometimes there's telepathy. I think of telepathy as like claircognizance, like you just know, like you're connecting. We're all interconnected. There's a huge web of energy that we're all connected into. That people often say to me, how can you connect when we're on the lives? And I tell them it's because we're all connected this interweb of energy. Same thing with our loved ones and our angels and our spirit guides. They're all connected to that as well. So we learn how to make that connection. We learn where our emotional state is at. We understand what could be impacting that connection, and then we can clear it. You guys have heard me talk about this on the lives. I don't use any medicinals. I don't use 420. I don't use any of that. If I'm going to numb myself, it's going to be on chocolate, on delicious desserts, or maybe a little glass of red wine every now and again. Okay. I don't want to numb myself. I want to be fully conscious. And this isn't a judgment. This is just how I operate. I can't put anything into my system. Chocolate and a little bit of red wine, that's it. If I don't listen to my angels, I'll say to them, how much red wine? And they'll say half a glass. Okay, I'll have half a glass. If I don't listen to them and I have like a full glass or more, I hurt. Like the next day, like I'll be hungover for a few days. I'll have a headache for a few days. I won't feel good. So that's just how it works in my world. We all have a spiritual team. Your team is made up of angels, guides, ascended masters, loved ones. Yeah, we have a beautiful team and they're literally waiting in the wings. Okay. So these are 5 ways that our loved ones help from the other side, from heaven. 1 is they bring their energy closer so we don't feel as alone. 2, they're giving us signs. If you haven't got them, make sure you ask for them and let me know what they are. 3, they come to our dreams. Okay. And if you're not a big dreamer, that's okay. That's just one way. 4, they'll move new people into our world, even new opportunities. Okay. You may be guided to take a class. You may be guided to take a trip. You may be guided to quit your job and start creating your own art and selling it online. Okay. They will bring anything new into your world, opportunities, people. Opportunities are huge. And number 5 is the connection, knowing that we are still connected, that love never dies. that connection never dies. The connection we have with our loved ones is eternal, and that never goes away. I send you mountains of love. Please leave a comment and please leave a review. We so appreciate the reviews. I appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you so much for listening and for being a part of my world. I send you mountains of love. Till next time. Bye for now. You can find me on Instagram at Shauna Domalain Medium, or visit my website at livealifeyoulove.org, where you'll find my offerings, including my Growing Up in Heaven program that teaches you how to make the connection with your son or daughter on the other side. Thank you for listening, and see you next time here on the Oracle of Light.